The Galactic Council's quarterly session had devolved into what could generously be called organized chaos. Representatives from 47 stellar civilizations argued, debated, and occasionally threatened each other across the vast amphitheater that orbited the neutral world of Consensus Prime. At the center of the heated discussion was humanity's application for membership. "Absolutely preposterous," declared Ambassador Thelac of the Hegemony, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's lights into prismatic patterns. "These humans possess no significant technological advantages, no unique resources, and their military capabilities are laughably primitive." Chancellor Vexney of the Dominion nodded her scaled head in agreement. "Our preliminary scans show they still use chemical propulsion for space travel." Chemical. They're barely beyond stone tools by galactic standards. The data streams floating holographically above the assembly told a damning story. Humanity's fastest ships would take centuries to cross distances that other civilizations covered in days. Their energy weapons were crude plasma variants that most species had abandoned millennia ago. Their armor was made of simple metallic alloys rather than quantum-reinforced materials. Most damning of all, they had never conquered another world. They've been confined to a single star system for their entire existence, observed the insectoid representative from the Hive Collective, mandibles clicking with what passed for laughter among his species. One system. The Hegemony controls 12,000 star systems. The Dominion spans 3 galactic arms. What could these humans possibly offer us? The motion to reject humanity's membership passed by an overwhelming margin, 43 votes against, 2 abstentions, 2 in favor. It wasn't even close. What the Council failed to notice was that the human delegation never protested the decision. Ambassador Elena Vasquez simply nodded, collected her materials, and prepared to leave. Her only comment, delivered with an enigmatic smile, was, "We understand your position. Thank you for your time." The war began 6 months later. It wasn't humanity that started it. The Hegemony and Dominion had been locked in a Cold War for over a century, their territorial disputes simmering just below the threshold of open conflict. When a Dominion patrol ship accidentally destroyed a Hegemony mining station, the fragile peace finally shattered. What began as a localized conflict quickly spread as ancient alliances activated. The Hive Collective sided with the Hegemony. The Ethereal Union backed the Dominion. Within weeks, half the galaxy was choosing sides or desperately trying to remain neutral. Nobody paid attention to the humans. The first indication that something was wrong came from a Hegemony logistics officer monitoring supply lines. Commander Ziltar noticed anomalous readings from the Kepler sector, massive energy signatures that didn't match any known technology. "Probably sensor ghosts," his aide suggested. "The Dominion's been jamming communications in that region." But Ziltar was thorough. He dispatched a reconnaissance squadron to investigate. They never returned. The second sign was more dramatic. A Dominion battle fleet, 300 ships strong, simply vanished, while en route to assault a Hegemony stronghold. One moment they were transmitting routine status updates, the next, nothing but cosmic silence. Both sides blamed each other for the disappearances, adding fuel to an already raging fire. It wasn't until Chancellor Vexney received an encrypted transmission that the truth began to emerge. The message was simple, almost casual. "Hello, Chancellor. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. We'd like to discuss terms." The accompanying coordinates led to a barren asteroid field that had been empty just days before. Now it housed what could only be described as a fortress, a massive construction of gleaming metal and energy barriers that defied every conventional understanding of military engineering. When Vexney's flagship arrived for the proposed meeting, she found herself staring at something impossible. The human construction wasn't just defended, it was actively defended. Automated weapon systems tracked their approach with perfect precision, while fighter craft that moved like living creatures patrolled the perimeter. Admiral Chen met them in a conference room that looked disturbingly normal, too much like a Dominion facility for comfort. "You're wondering how we built this so quickly," Chen said without preamble. She was a compact woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that seemed to catalogue every detail of her surroundings. "The answer is simple. We didn't. We've been building it for 50 years. The holographic display that materialized showed a three-dimensional map of local space, dotted with installations that hadn't existed on any galactic survey. You see, when you've been confined to one star system for your entire existence, you learn to be creative with limited resources. While you were expanding across thousands of worlds, we were learning to extract every possible advantage from the space we had." Vexney's throat sac inflated with alarm as the implications became clear. "These installations, they're invisible to our sensors." Stealth technology, Chen confirmed. "Among other things, we've had a long time to study galactic civilizations to understand your military doctrines, your weaknesses. Did you know that every major power relies on the same basic fleet formations? The same predictable supply lines? The same assumption that bigger is always better?" The next display showed tactical analyses that made Vexney's blood run cold. Detailed breakdowns of Dominion fleet movements, hegemony defensive strategies, even hive collective swarming patterns, all catalogued, studied, and countered. The missing fleets? Chen's smile was entirely too pleasant. "We needed test subjects. Your crews are unharmed, by the way. They're being held in very comfortable facilities while we study your technology. Remarkable ships, though a bit predictable in their targeting algorithms." Ambassador Thelark, who had arrived for the meeting in his personal dreadnought, finally found his voice. "This is impossible. Our intelligence networks would have detected such preparations." "Would they?" Chen gestured, and the hologram zoomed in on a seemingly empty region of space. "How closely do you monitor areas you consider worthless? Asteroid fields, nebula formations, the spaces between useful star systems?" The answer was written in their shocked silence. The galactic powers had been so focused on habitable worlds and resource-rich systems that they'd completely ignored the vast emptiness between them. Humanity had turned that emptiness into their greatest advantage. "Here's our proposal," Chen continued, her tone becoming businesslike. "We'll negotiate a ceasefire between all parties. In exchange, we want immediate membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights commensurate with our demonstrated capabilities." "And if we refuse?" Lake demanded. The lights dimmed, and through the conference room's transparent walls, they could see the fortress's true scale. It wasn't just one installation, it was a network, a web of connected platforms that stretched beyond visual range, and moving between them were ships unlike anything in the galactic databases, sleek, predatory vessels that seemed to bend light around themselves. "Then we'll end this war ourselves," Chen said quietly. "All of it. Every fleet, every installation, every world that continues fighting. We've spent 50 years learning how to survive in a hostile universe. Believe me when I say we're very good at it." The ceasefire was signed within the week. Humanity's membership application was approved unanimously. And in the classified files of every major power, a new entry appeared, humans previously assessed as primitive. Reassessment, extremely dangerous. Do not underestimate again. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that doesn't look like a threat. Sometimes the species confined to one small corner of space isn't trapped there. It's waiting, watching, and preparing. And sometimes the greatest mistake you can make is assuming that because someone doesn't have what you value, they don't have anything at all. Admiral Chen returned to Earth with news of their acceptance into galactic society. But in the depths of the Sol system, construction continued on projects that would make their asteroid fortress look like a child's toy. After all, trust was something that had to be earned. And in a galaxy full of predators, it never hurt to remain the apex hunter.